All right. Looks like we're good. I hope we're live. What's up, everyone? Midnight Madness 4x4 here, and tonight we're going to talk to one of my racing buddies, Jeremiah Creasy of the Old Mill Auto Jeep Cherokee. So I'm going to give him a call here real quick and see if we can get him connected. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Jeremiah.
Hey, what's up, Charlie?
Not much, bud. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Uh, you pretty much ready for this year?
Yeah, we're getting there. We got a couple Jeeps we got to get ready and buttoned up. We got my boys. We're getting ready to put a cage in.
Oh, you're putting a cage in one.
Yeah, his Grand Cherokee, his white one, the one he had down in Salisbury this past weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were down there, right?
No, I wasn't down there. My boy
Oh.
actually went down.
Oh, okay. But man, I can't wait for this year. We got Harrisburg coming up soon in March 9th, correct?
Yep, March 9th is Harrisburg, and I will be within the next day or two. I'm posting when registration will be open, and then we'll get our top 16 trucks in there and get everything registered so we're ready to go for that race. Got everything squared away with the promoter with that one, so we're good to go on that show.
All right, cool. How was last season for you?
Good. Last season's good. We got the four-wheel drive championship at the Buck. The I rolled over in the second to the last event in the other class and ended up costing me my championship for that one, but I did have them both wrapped up until I rolled over, and then that cost me the one championship. So
Yeah.
So that's just a racing thing that happens.
Yeah, I remember in 2017, wasn't it? You rolled over
Both of them,
Yep.
and
The,
lost both championships that year.
yeah, the two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive.
And the four-wheel drive. Yep.
Yep. And
That's just part of racing, though.
yeah.
If you're not going all out, you ain't at the top. That's for sure.
Yep. And you're pretty much the top guy to beat along with Leon Hostetter. But
yeah. There's the Usherman boys are out there, and Kramer. He's good in his two-wheel drive, and it's I hear that he's building a new four-wheel drive for this year. So we'll see what kind of the competition that he can have in the four-wheel drive class with the guys that run there. And Bill Woods, he's coming back for this year. From what I understand,
awesome.
He had a pretty bad episode at the end of the last season, but I just talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's ready to get back at it. I'm pretty sure he will be racing at Harrisburg as well.
Awesome. And you have 4 Jeeps now, right? 2 of yours, and then your wife's, and then one for your son.
I have 5.
5.
My 2, my wife's, my daughter has 1, and then my boy, he has 1 now. And I'm actually going to be picking another one up here in the next couple weeks. I'm going to be using that for up at what the Rolling W Ranch. We're going to be using that truck up there. That way my truck don't get all beat up. So
oh, okay.
It's got a cage in it. It's ready to go.
Cool. One thing during this live stream that we can do is talk to the chat room. There's actually a question from Hammerhead Hayden 01 the Gamer. Man, that's a long tag. But he asked, how long have you been racing?
I've been racing Tuff trucks straight for 21 years. I have not missed one single race at the Buck in that 21 years that I've been racing. Now, I did race before that. It was like a 2-3 year span that I didn't do anything. But the first time I actually ran Tuff trucks was at Buck Motorsports Park. and I ran a 1979 Chevy full-size pickup truck in the class that they had over there. Um, I think I ran that thing 4 or 5 times, and it finally just it was beating me too bad. So that's when we brought the Chevette into the picture.
Yeah, and not only you had the Chevette, you had a Brat also, right?
Yep, I had the first vehicle I had was my Chevette, and then I bought a Subaru Brat out of Virginia. It was pretty much a rust bucket. We got it all fixed up and got it strong enough to race, and we raced that 3 years. I actually sold that a few years ago, and I actually have it back sitting in my yard now. A little different than what it went. It went through one, two, three people, and it finally made its way back to my place. So we haven't touched it. Not sure what we're going to do with it. My boy kind of wanted to start racing it, but now that he's got a Jeep, I'm not sure if that's going to be on the plate of fixing that back up or not. It was a very good vehicle in its day. It's down on horsepower, and compared to what the Jeeps have, and the suspension isn't like a Jeep, and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not a very competitive vehicle anymore. It's something different. You don't see a whole lot of. Um, so we may bring it back out in a few years to come.
Yeah. Something we might have 3 monster truck shows at the Buck this year, right?
Yes, I think we do. That's how they have the schedule put up. The first one will be the May 18th show. That will be with the monster trucks. And then I think June 29th will be a monster truck show as well. And then July the 20th will be a monster truck show as well.
Awesome.
So that's three monster trucks there. Um, they lost a couple mud bogs in it, but it's one of those things that it's the Buck has to do what they got to do to keep the gates open,
Yeah.
and the mud bogs weren't bringing in the competitors, so they have to do something to compensate for that.
Yeah, I do enjoy the mud bogs, but I I do like the monster trucks, not full a lot more, not the batch mud trucks or anything. But
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I like the mud trucks too. It's awesome to see them get out there, and the local guys. I mean, just like us, we're local guys. Get out and beat our stuff up, and that's what they do. That's how they have fun.
yep,
But like I said, you gotta if they keep going the same way they were, they can't keep the gates open, and all the racers that do go there, that's what they want. If we have to sacrifice a couple events, that's what we have to do.
yeah,
The
and
kind of most exciting news that I'm going to be, that I'm kind of excited about is Mountain Springs. Hopefully we can get our show in there for the back in there for the tough trucks for with the monster truck show on the June the 22nd.
yep,
I'm real stoked about there. I love that place. I always had a good time there. We always camped out up there the night before. It was
yep.
just a whole weekend thing. Um, really kind of miss that.
It's been like since like what 2007 and 8 since our last show there.
I think 7, 8. Yeah, that's how long it's been. And I've tried for 3 or 4 years after that, and then actually like 2, 3 years ago, I was trying again. Nate Wetzel tried, and we tried everything to get back in there, and it's just the owner there is just he said it's just too much work to do a tough truck and a demo derby in the same weekend, which is what we normally did back in the day.
Yeah, uh, and not only Charlottesville, we also had Susquehanna also, right?
Yeah, Susquehanna. That's June 15th and 16th. It's called Baps Speedway. It used to be the old Susquehanna Speedway. We're getting back in there. It's been 6, 7 years since we've been back there, and hopefully we can put a real good show on for them so we can keep coming back there. Um, that's the same promoter that's doing that is doing the Delaware Georgetown Speedway race, as the same one was last year on July the 5th and 6th.
Uh, you said since 6 or 7 years since Susquehanna. The last race I remember was the same year as Charlottesville, 2007.
That it might have been that long ago. Time flies.
Oh yeah, especially when you're racing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as so far this year, what I have marked on my calendar, I think we have 21 races that we're doing this year so far. Now, there's a few in there that's like Lebanon I don't have on my schedule that I had posted a while ago. That's one that's not on there that we will be attending. There's one on March the 30th, which is down in Virginia, North Carolina, somewhere in there. It's called Morgan's Corner. We're going back there to defend the belt against all the guys from down there. And there's some talk about that we're going to have a North versus South kind of
Tough.
race going on. That we may do like a one race down there, and then they'll come up here for a race up here at a event that we have up here somewhere. So we're trying to work that out. It's in the process. Not 100% sure what we're doing yet, but that's just something that we're throwing around as an idea.
Yeah, that would be awesome. A North versus South Tough Truck show.
Yeah, those guys they're on their A game down there,
Oh
but
yeah.
I I think they're going to be surprised when they get a hold of our guys up here. The Tough Truck has made the Buck Motorsports Park has made a lot of real competitive, good drivers because it's a nice, tight course and it's a driver's course. It's not a horsepower course. So when you get into that kind of stuff, that's when you really learn how to drive the Tough Truck. Um, but those guys down in the south, they are top of their game down there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially Robbie with that 5.9 360 Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, he's definitely a good driver. I've seen the last podcast with him, and not so sure that I'm a wussy, but that's that's just here or there.
Oh, we'll
We'll
have
we'll
some
see.
fun.
He thinks I got lucky with the belt, so we'll see at Morgan's Corner how that all pans out. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
Yep.
We'll see. I've beat him multiple times, and he's actually only beat me once. So I think we got the upper hand so far as of right now.
And plus, I have my Cherokee and my CJ. So once we once I get those back together, it should be interesting. But
Yeah, it's you definitely put a good show on down at Disorder at the Border last 2 years ago, I guess.
what was
Um, you were
2015?
was it 15? Is it
Yeah.
that long ago?
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Time flies.
Yep. Time flies. but
But yeah, I mean, you were one to beat. I mean, it was tough to get you. It was. So
yeah, and the only reason I won the first time against you on the first race of the season, though, was because you hit a cone, though. But that made it my
yeah,
goal to beat you head to head, fair and square.
yeah, and I mean, the cone cost you. That's the bad thing about Disorder at the Border. But that also goes back to Eden. If you're not a good driver and you can't keep your vehicle under control, then it's going to be the other guy's game. I mean, that's how it is. It's all the racing we do around here is real tight. I mean, it's if you mess up one time, you might as well put your stuff on your trailer because the other guy's going to get you.
Yep. And I got a question from the chat room. Where was that? Do you think it's from Ranger Pilot? I think it's is it Eshelman? Ranger Pilot. He has the orange Ford Ranger that sits real low.
Orange Ford Ranger. Oh, Daryl Eshelman.
Yeah, that is there. Okay, yeah. But
Yeah.
he wants to know, do you think the buck track configuration will change anytime soon?
I sure hope so, but it hasn't changed in the last 10, 15 years I've been racing there. I mean, a couple little things. We tried to run the track backwards once or twice. It never seemed to stick. Um, Hopefully, we can get some stuff changed with the monster trucks that we might be able to do something a little different. It's just one of those things it is what it is. You got to race when you get there. That's the track they set up is what you race. That's how it is where you go everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You deal with what you're dealt. it is kind of monotonous, but it is a small arena, and they can only do so much with what they have there. Is the problem that they're running into. I mean, I would love to see two at a time at the Buck, but they just don't see that there's enough room there to make that happen safely. Um,
Yeah, gotcha. And there's another chat room question. Hammerhead Hayden 01 the gamer again. He wants to
yeah,
know when was the last time you raced at Wyoming County Fair.
Wyoming County Fair. That probably would have been like 4 or 5 years ago. It's it's a good haul for me. Not that I don't like going there. The last time that I was actually there, I think that something got messed up with the times, and there was a little front wheel drive car that actually put me and a few other guys back a couple spots, and something got messed up with the timing. That was one reason I didn't go back. Another reason, it's a long haul up there, and it's all up 81, up the big mountains and stuff. It's real hard on equipment towing there.
Uh,
I will. I plan on going back in the near future here. Um, got a lot of stuff going on, personal wise, that's kind of going to hold me back this year. We're not going to be doing a lot of the long races and stuff this year. We got to get this my personal stuff situated here. Nothing major, but I got to take some time off. I got some stuff around the house that I have to get done that's been neglected for way too long.
gotcha.
Um, so I'm going to cut back on the long distance racing, the Buck and Fawn Grove and all them. Disorder at the Border, we'll be at those, and we may hit Hagerstown and Bloomsburg, Lebanon, Susquehanna, obviously, and the Delaware race that I will be running at the Delaware. I will be running that show, and also the York Baptist Speedway. I'll be running that show, so I will not be racing at those two races.
Yeah, those local shows that we're getting back are pretty much going to be priority for me also. I want to run at Charlottesville, Susquehanna, and Harrisburg at least. So I can't wait. but
Yeah,
have
yeah, we're going to be doing Harrisburg a little different this year as far as the registration goes.
okay.
The guys that were registered last year that actually raced in the show will have the first shot at it. I, I open it up every year to whoever registers first. It's kind of unfair for the people that go there and support the race all the time and they get knocked out because obviously they weren't at the computer at the time, or this and that. So I'm going to try something a little different this year to try to for the guys that support me and the show there year in year out. I want to give them first opportunity instead of letting them get knocked out because they weren't at the computer on time.
Okay.
Whatever spots that we have left over, I will open registration up for that when that time comes. um, I'm going to open up the about 1 to 2 days here yet, probably Saturday, Sunday. I will
Okay.
be putting a post on about who's going that was there last year is going to have first opportunity with it, and then I'm going to get a head count then, and then whatever is not spots are not filled, then I'm going to open the registration up just like I did in years past, and that's how we're going to fill the spots.
Okay. And do you have any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Um, Pretty much myself and Old Mill Auto Sales is about the only sponsor that I have. Um, it's all done by me. No sponsors other than Old Mill Auto Sales, which is where I work, and that's pretty much the use of the shop. And I get fluids and that kind of stuff from him. The use of I don't have a double car trailer, so when I need the trailer, I get to use that. So, it's a very big sponsorship from Old Mill Auto Sales.
Yeah.
Um, but that's all I have. I never really went out to try to get sponsors. I mean, I can do it myself with Old Mill, so I don't if somebody else could use a sponsor from somewhere else that they can't quite afford it, that's what I leave it out there for, is for somebody else to go after it.
Uh, how are you making out with your four-wheel drive? I remember you had to swap the motor out, right?
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting ready to do that. I'm probably going to do that this weekend. I'm going to pull the motor out. I just bought a Jeep tonight for a motor that I'm going to put back in it. The guy that was supposed to come get the motor, um, he's having family problems right now.
Uh,
His mom is sick, so he can't. He's not going to be able to come up and get it until I got to have the vehicle ready for Motorama, so I can get it up the Motorama. I mean, I could tow it in with no motor in it, but I'm just going to slap this motor in it for now until he can get up. Um, he said probably within the next month he'll get up, and we can swap motors backwards and forth. We're supposed to do it the last month, but every weekend that we were supposed to do it, it snowed, kind of pushed everything off.
yeah, Motorama is next week, and it's no racing, right? Just a display for the buck.
Yeah, Motorama is February the 16th and 17th, and that is just the display for the Buck to, trying to help promote them. The Buck, they're actually going to have two, one, two stands up there, one for the Tuff trucks and one for a pull-in truck that they're going to have over in the show and shine part of it,
Okay.
and then we'll be over in the speed show part.
Okay, cool. I'll see if I can make it down, maybe on my Grom or something, since I'm right across the river. But
Yeah, you're not too far from there.
yep. And I got a question from RPM Nexus. What are your goals for this season?
Um, everybody's goal is to bring home the championship at the end of the year.
Yep.
I want to. I'm slowly, I've been in it 21 years. I'm getting old. My body's getting withered. It can't take the abuse it used to. I used to be able to pop up the next day. Now it takes me 2 days to get back up on big shows. The Buck and Fawn Grove. That's nothing. I mean, they're kind of pretty laid back shows. I mean, the ramps aren't real big and
Yeah,
that
but
kind of stuff. But when we start going to Lebanon and that kind of stuff, it puts a hurting on you when you've been doing it as long as I've been doing it.
yeah, the ones that let you fly.
Yeah,
And
and I mean that's one reason why I try to keep it on the ground as much as I can, because it's it puts a hurting on your body after all the years that you do it. The guys that hasn't been doing it very long, it doesn't bother them that much now. But when you know 20 years down the road, let me know how you feel.
yeah, I especially with the leaf springs of the CJs. uh,
Yeah, that would even be worse yet.
yep,
And I started out in the Chevette that had like 3 inches of suspension travel.
yep.
it
Well, the CJ only has it probably has less than one with how far I extended the bump stops. Oh man, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting old.
Well, how's your Dodge coming along?
It's pretty good. We put the king shocks on the back of it, but we didn't put the kings on the front. We're gonna do some test runs with it. Maybe a Harrisburg. I know you offered to let me do an exhibition run down there with it, so I might. So if that offer is still open, of course.
Yeah, we'll have to play it by ear when it comes closer to the time. But yeah, I don't think that should be a problem as far as for an exhibition run.
Yeah, that way if I don't make the registration, I can at least come down and put on a show.
Right. I guess you weren't there last year, from what I.
Yeah, last year I pretty much took the entire season off.
Yeah, that's what I had thought. I didn't think you had made it. I mean, I have a list out here of that who actually ran. Um, I haven't actually looked at the list for a few days here, so I don't remember everybody that was on it. But like I said, everybody that was on that list will have first shot at that running there again
Uh,
before I open registration.
I got an interesting question from Hammerhead Hagen. He asked, "How good do you think a Chevy Avalanche would do in tough trucks?" That's a full-size truck.
Yeah.
I don't think it would do too
My
well.
my full size experience with the truck back now, this was a '79, but it hurts when it lands.
Yep.
And this was just at the Buck. So, it hurts. The suspension travel of Chevys aren't very good in general. There's been a few guys that try to run them, and there's a few guys that run them now. Brad Schumann is one of them. He just seems he can get that thing to work, and it just works perfect for him. And S10 Blazers, they chuck ball joints out left and right, and this and that, and it's never been a real good vehicle that I know that anybody's ever got to work properly, other than a few here and there.
Yeah.
If you do your research, I guess you can make anything competitive. Um, if you're going to have fun, hey, why not just build it and go have fun? If that's what it's all about, is having fun.
Yep, and tear it
And
up.
then you tear it up and you fix it up.
Yeah.
Once you start getting a little faster and a little faster, then you want something a little faster, then you build something. Like I said, I started out with a '79 Chevy pickup, and went to a Chevette. I raced a Chevette for 3 years before I actually even won even any money at the Buck. I raced it 3 years and I didn't win anything.
Yeah.
I was always in sixth, seventh, eighth place, right in that area, just right out of the money.
Yeah.
It took me 3 years to actually get in the money with it. But if you just keep with it, it will, you know,
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of studying on how to drive properly.
right.
Yeah, and
The vehicle is just one part of the whole game. You need to know how to drive it, and you need to have good quality equipment. Um, and it takes practice and time, and seat time is more valuable than anything.
hmm
Um,
and comfort
so
behind the wheel, pretty much also.
yep, you need the comfort to learn how to drive, uh, to feel comfortable behind the wheel, taking a vehicle off the ramp. It's a weird feeling when you do it for the second time of taking the car off the ramp. Cars aren't meant to fly.
Yeah.
It's something you got to get used to. But once you get used to it, it is definitely an adrenaline rush.
Yeah. Uh, Whatever happened to Tyler's Bronco? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think,
Tyler DeMole, I think his
yeah,
name was.
Dremel. I think
Yeah.
you were
I
in.
went and looked at it one time because I was going to think about building a modified truck.
Mm-hmm.
It just it was a little bit too far gone as far as rust goes,
Uh,
for what I was willing to do with it. Um, and I actually don't even know whatever happened to it. I don't know even if he still has it, or if he actually sold it, or what he did with it. I kind of went and looked at it, and it was pretty bad. So I just left it there. Not saying that it couldn't be fixed,
oh,
but
that thing ripped.
yeah, it needed some work. The Doug Hutton was the owner of that truck back, oh, 18 years ago. We used to run with him at the Buck, in different
2000.
places up at Harrisburg and stuff. Um, he came back one time. I don't know how many years ago it was, but he came back 2 or 3 races, and then that was it. And it set in his field for all that time. So the sitting on the grass got to it and got it all rusty.
Yeah. But how many championships did you win in tough trucks? Because I'm sure you won quite a bit.
Um, I don't know an exact number. Um, I'm going to say probably, I would say 10 to 12 championship I've probably won so far.
Wow.
Um, I know we've won 2 championships from Charlottesville, um, that we did back, I think it was '07 and '06 and '07. I think we got the championships back to back. Um, like I said, I don't. I don't remember all the details. We've raced so many times, so many places. Um, it's been a really fun um, story in my life. Um, I'm glad my kids and stuff got into it, and my wife's into it, and they all push. They want to go racing, and so that's what keeps me going, and keeps me in the sport. If it probably wasn't for my kids and my wife, I probably wouldn't still be racing. Um, it's just you know I want to do something different. But since they're in it, I might as well just stay with it and go with it. And I just you know it's great that they picked up that habit. And then there's a lot of other badder habits out there
Yeah,
that you could pick up.
yeah. What have you thought of trying out instead?
Well, I want to do more camping and some boating and that kind of stuff. I'm thinking my boss wants to get me in a street stock dirt track race car. I'm not so sure that it's something that I probably would. I know I would enjoy it, but to start at the bottom when you're already at the top, it's going to be a pretty big ego hit to me because I know I'm not going to be, you know, real good at it until years down the road. Just like any sport that you try, you don't start off at the top.
Yeah. Uh, how many cancellations do you think we had last year? Because I remember we had a lot of rain. Wasn't it like five?
I think it was. I think we only got one show in at Disorder at the Border. Maybe we might have got two shows in. One show that I missed, and then one show I was there. So I think they got two of their shows in.
Yeah.
And I think the Buck lost three of our shows with just our shows themselves, and I think they lost a bunch of other one of different shows of like the pulling trucks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But,
Last year was a real bad year for rain, which everybody knows,
yeah.
and it kind of put a damper on the race season last year. Nobody really ever got a roll and stayed on it because it was always broke up with rain.
Yep.
So fingers crossed this year that we're going to get a bunch of our events in. Hopefully we get them all in. But if we lose one or two, hey, that's a lot better than what it was, last year.
Yeah, I think the Buck took the worst hit of it last year. They had like, was it two cancellations or three?
No, I think
I
I
think it
think
was
we
just
lost.
two.
It might have just been two,
Yeah, I think
but I
so.
know they had a lot of cancellations with as far as the full schedule. They lost a bunch of events.
Um, and then we had one or two canceled at Disorder at the Border also.
Yes.
And then, oh yeah, then Chambersburg lost one due to rain also, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I don't really follow that circuit up there. Their rules were a little strange, and that's just kind of how I left it.
Yeah.
Um, just wasn't real keen on how they had their rules laid out, and it's their track. They can lay the rules out how they want, and that's what they did. Like I said, you gotta roll with what you're dealt with, and if it's dealt with that and you don't want to go, that's fine. There's no use bad mouthing anybody. You just don't go.
Yeah.
It's plain and simple.
Yeah. But, do you plan on trying anything new with your Cherokee this year, or do you plan on sticking to the normal setup? Like,
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to change anything. Seems to be working good. Um, we've been running Cherokees for like 7 years now. Um, seem to have them pretty well dialed in. Um, so I don't think there's a whole lot of change that we're going to do. Um, like I said, we're going to build my boy. We're building a roll cage in his and trying to get that thing ready to go for him. I know he was down at Salisbury this past weekend and actually got a first place in the Saturday morning show, and then got a fourth place in the Saturday. evening show. So it's a pretty competitive Jeep. So we'll start building it up now that we know it's actually a competitive Jeep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And do you still have that seat by any chance that you were gonna sell last year, or
Yeah, the one that was in my 2-wheel drive.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's still in there.
yeah, I might.
It's ready for you if you're ready.
Yeah, I think I might be ready for it. I'll let you know, and I'm also gonna work on getting some weight off of my Cherokee, maybe stripping the hood out, and I might even install the second electric fan. Do you know how exactly can I install that? Do I hook it up to a solenoid or something?
Well, you hook it up to a relay that way the power isn't run through the switch. It's run through a relay which sends the power to it. That way it's um, a fan draws a good bit of amperage. So
Okay.
if you just have like a regular switch, toggle switch, it will it'll burn the toggle switches out pretty quick. So how I have mine set up, I actually run mine through a relay to run the fans, and I have a dual dual radiator or dual fan setup on mine as well. Seems to do real well. Most of the places we don't need a lot of cooling because we're not running very long. Fawn Grove, when we're doing the shootout, if you make the top 8 and you keep running down, um, it gets pretty hot by the end of the night. Even with the 2 fans on.
Yeah.
I'm still probably pushing like 240 degrees at the end of the night when I'm done running. If I go to the finals,
Yeah, that's hot.
it's hot.
Oh
But
yeah.
240 on a Cherokee is not too bad because 215 is like normal temperature on those on a Jeep. So,
They,
240 isn't terrible. I mean, I've had it way hotter than that before, but normally it's at 240.
yeah, they're strong motors though, really strong.
Uh, I've I beat mine. I mean, everybody knows my 2-wheel drive. It bounces off a rev limiter, 1,000 times during a race. And the whole time I've been racing it, I've only blown up one motor in it, and that was at Fawn when I blew the motor up.
Yep, and I have footage of that. That was one heck of a smoke cloud you made.
and and the thing of it is, it blew up, and I think I still made 2 rounds with it, even after it blew up.
Yeah, didn't you get like top 3 or something?
I think I was in top 3.
Yeah.
I think I was racing Chuck in the 3-4 shootout, and I ended up getting third. He hit a cone, which cost him the race. Sometimes the cones win the race. Sometimes.
Yeah. All right. But how you doing though? With everything, like, are you? I guess you are excited for this year though.
What's that?
I guess you are excited for this year though. It's
Oh
better,
yeah, I'm real excited.
better than
I get a
sitting around in winter.
Yeah, and I haven't done. I haven't had a whole lot of work to do this winter, so it's been kind of laid back for me this winter. All my stuff was pretty decent from last year. I didn't have too much to fix and repair or new stuff that I wanted to try. The only thing we got to do is we just got to get my boys done. That's about the only project I really have other than getting the motor out of my 4-wheel drive.
Okay, cool. And that's pretty much all I have. But if anyone in the chat has a question, they're free to ask. But if not, I'll let you go a while.
Okay.
All right. Does
Anybody have any questions?
anyone have a question in the chat? How many RPMs are you turning from Ranger Pilot?
Um, it's got a rev limiter in it, so whatever the stock rev limiter is where it turns the RPMs when it
Yeah,
goes off of the rev limiter. So I'm not exactly 100% sure what that spec is.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
whatever stock is where it bounces the rev limiter at. So I
yeah,
don't have a tack in it.
I think that's about 6 or 7,000 RPMs, but
Yeah, I think seven's probably a little high for it.
maybe.
I
But
mean, 7,000's that's pretty high, and I think maybe even 6 might be a little on the high side.
Now, Ranger pilot, Daryl Eshelman wants to know, where do you have your nitrous button mounted?
I wish I had nitrous.
I think you also wish you had a turbo.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Maybe
It
two.
there's there's no nitrous in it. I know there were some stories going around that there was nitrous in it, and I had bigger computer in it, and a whole bunch of stuff. None of that is true. The only thing that I did do, and that was when I built my new Jeep, was I did build a stroker motor, but it was all stock rotating assembly. And I actually went through the right order to find out if it was legal to build, because it's all out of a Cherokee. It's all stock rotating assembly.
Yeah.
So I was just tired of everybody complaining about it, and so I'm just gonna I don't it doesn't help anyway. So anybody that builds a stroker motor for Tuff trucks, it absolutely does make no difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just going to take it out. I'm getting another fresh rebuilt motor, plus $1,000 for it, and so the money I have in it, I'm getting back out of it. Plus, I get another fresh rebuilt motor for it. This guy has all the paperwork for it, so it's a win-win for me. And like I said, I don't need it. I mean, I went to Jefferson County when I got kicked out from up there with my Jeep. I took my wife's Jeep up there, and I went up there anyway. So I don't need it. I thought it would be cool to build. Everybody said I had one, so I figured, well, if everybody thinks I have one, I might as well build one.
All right. I think that's pretty much all the questions from the chat. So thanks for coming in tonight for the podcast.
All right, thanks for having me, Charlie.
Yep, looking forward to seeing getting back behind the wheel against you guys on the track.
Yep, we'll see. We'll see you at Harrisburg if we can.
Yep, and I'll take them home in pieces.
That's usually what happens from Harrisburg is pieces.
Yeah, tell me about it. I think I only brought my truck home in one piece once, out of all the times. Out of all the times I ran there since what was it, 2005, something like that. Yeah.
That track will bring out that track will find the weaknesses of your vehicle. That's for sure.
Yeah, I snapped an entire axle in half down there before.
Yeah, I remember.
Off the CJ7.
Yeah, I think did we put a rear end back in it at the show, didn't we?
No, I took it home and took it to Eric for because I didn't know how to do an axle at the time, but I bought.
Well,
what?
We put an axle in somebody's up there one year.
It wasn't mine. Wasn't it a Cherokee? You took an axle out of one to crush cars or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was. We took it out and put it in. I forget whose we put it in, but we did put it in somebody's. And they were ready to go racing the next race.
Was it? It wasn't Tim Stock, was it?
I don't remember. I just remember doing it. I don't remember who it was.
Okay.
I remember ripping the rear end out from underneath one of the crushed vehicles, and then slapping it underneath one of whatever vehicle it was that we put it under.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Between the two shows.
And you got it for free, right?
What's that?
You guys got the axle for free, right? Like.
Yeah. We asked the guy there that was running the show, and he's like, he says, I don't care, take what you want off of it.
That is freaking awesome.
We got the axle out and put it in.
All right, I'm gonna let you go a while. So thanks again.
You're welcome. Thanks, Charlie.
Yep.
Have a good night.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up tonight, and thanks everyone who came in. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want, and if you enjoyed the live stream tonight, don't forget to crush that like button, alright? And if this is your first time in, don't forget to subscribe so you'll get the latest videos as they come out, alright? Thanks for dropping in. Hope you guys have a good one. We're going to crush it in 2019.